If you're ready to start giving professional astrology readings, but feeling a little intimidated and overwhelmed as to how to prepare, then this video is for you. I have 5 tips and techniques to help you approach chart analysis in a structured and intentional way so that you can efficiently and effectively prepare and build confidence for your reading. For practical, accessible astrology content, subscribe to my Living and Exploring Astrology channel. Click the bell next to the subscribe button to be notified of new videos when they're uploaded. Among the tips and techniques we'll be discussing in this video is a technique to help draw the client into the reading so that they're more involved and invested in the outcome. Techniques to help get a big picture perspective before we get into the detail, being clear and prioritizing what dominates the consciousness of the client, and understanding past and early life themes to give context to what the client is experiencing. My name is Richelle Steyn. I'm an evolutionary astrologer. Welcome to my channel. Ask the client for questions they want answers to before the reading. Obviously, having some idea of what the client wants out of the reading helps build our confidence, but it's also important for the client to think what they want out of the reading. And if they know and we give them what they want, then there's a greater chance that they'll be satisfied. But it also draws the client into the reading. They're not just an observer, they're a participant. It's important to anchor ourselves in the big picture perspective of our client in order to create a foundation to explore the detail. To get this big picture overview, first look to see if there's a clustering of factors in any one hemisphere, quadrant, or house. In this chart of Prince William, we see that the upper hemisphere has a concentration of factors. This gives our client, Prince William, an impersonal, objective, reflective, cooperative, receptive, mature quality. The right hemisphere is also more densely populated. This gives the quality of creating life circumstances, having an impact, wanting to choose the direction and getting involved and wanting change and growth. Also in Prince William's chart, the 9th house has that clustering, those 2 sets of planetary pairs. And the 9th house communicates the need to uncover a greater potential, not only for ourselves, but for the collective. It focuses on expansion, on meaning. It has this philosophical quality. And in Prince William's chart, the 7th house communicates a focus on relationship, on duality, and the need to bring balance. Secondly, look at the elements in the chart. See if there's any one element with a very high presence, or a low presence, or a total absence completely. In Gloria Steynam's chart, she has the Sun and Mars in a conjunction in Aries in the 5th house. She also has the South Node on the MC in the 9th house in Leo, and she also has a Moon in Leo. Gloria Steynam has a very high presence of fire in her chart. This communicates a big energy, strength, power, heat, metabolism. You know, this energy to defy fate and to create your own destiny. It also communicates a potential for a wound of the feminine. So the elements can give us a lot of information about the client before we even get into the detail. The third aspect we look at are the modes of the angles. In Leonardo DiCaprio's chart, all of his angles are cardinal. This chart is all about new beginnings, new birth, new foundations, creating new launching points, new cycles of evolution. And all these new beginnings are about a new identity, a new sense of becoming. Prioritize what dominates the chart and focus on that first. In order to do this, we look at the following factors in this order of importance. Firstly, we look at the angles. Anything that touches the angles dominates the chart. Angles are like the landing strip of the psyche where energy enters and leaves the system. The sun and moon are, of course, important, but if the moon is new or full, then that's a very potent energy in a chart. The lunar nodal axis, the south node, communicates what the client has digested and assimilated and mastered on an emotional level as a past life theme. It also gives clues to the client's early life experiences in this life. And it also tells us what the client needs to learn and master in this lifetime. Like the angles, anything that touches the nodes dominates the chart. Stelliums, this is a cluster of 2 or more planets, and also the planetary pairs, which often communicate a generational impact, like the Pluto-Uranus conjunction in the early 60s, the Pluto-Saturn conjunction in the early 80s, the whistleblower generation, and also the Neptune-Uranus conjunction. So looking at Prince William's chart again, he has Neptune on the ascendant. He has that on his MC, he's got Jupiter and Pluto. And then on his DC, he's got the sun and the moon in a conjunction, a new moon. And you also have the north node there. And so we've got the new moon solar eclipse. And if you look, that Saturn-Mars planetary pair is actually square to the lunar nodal axis. So that also draws that cluster in the 9th house into that lunar nodal axis. So Prince William angles new moon lunar nodes, those first 3 on the list. So that's definitely the focal point in his chart. If we look at Bill Gates has nothing on the angles. He's got nothing on the lunar nodes. In the lower half of his chart, he's got that series of planetary pairs. And I would definitely say that the focal point of his chart is that 4th house with those 2 sets of pairs, standing the sun in a near opposition to a full moon. And then lastly, the past and early life themes with the central focus on the lunar nodal axis. So if, like for Bill Gates' chart, the lunar nodal axis was not prioritized as dominating the chart and covered before, I always familiarize myself with the lunar nodal axis before the reading. Looking at Prince William's chart, and again, we could do an entire reading on the information and knowledge contained in the lunar nodal axis about the client. But what I want to focus on for this video is that south node cap in the 1st house, how that communicates what is mastered as a past life theme, his ability to his own personality and needs and wants aside, and to step up and answer the external call of duty on him. and how that North Node in Cancer communicates this imperative for him to reconnect with who he is, what his needs and wants are, and to integrate it into his personality and the way that he is in the world, and to achieve a balance in that respect. In this video, we highlighted the importance of asking questions to draw the client into the reading, getting a big picture perspective before getting into the detail, prioritizing what dominates the consciousness of the client, and understanding the backstory to give context to what the client is experiencing. If you like this video, click the like button and share it with your friends. Please let me know what you think of the video in the comments below. If you have any tips and techniques you'd like to share, I'd love to hear them. And if you haven't already subscribed, click that subscribe button and hit that bell.